Well, here we are, 3rd of September, and it's chucking it down here in middle Scotland. A couple of weeks and summer will be gone. So now the question is, what's next for the project? So I thought, an experiment. Everything on this project's been an experiment. We're on concrete at the top of a huge hill, crazy winds. It is Scotland as well. So everything's been an experiment, and this is going to be the next one. The sagittary has finally been set up as a potting bench, okay? And I'm ready to make some potting soil. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And in that corner there are all the seeds that are going to form part of this experiment. And there's some perlite. Okay, so we have here a tub of, oops, take the seeds in. A tub of soil that was actually left over from our potatoes. So there'll still be some goodness in it. There was a lot of good manure and everything in that soil to begin with. So brought some of that over, and then in this tub here, I think I've got too much, but it doesn't matter. In this tub here, this is shop bought multi-purpose compost. So I'm just going to tip that in. Maybe a bit too much in here, and then mix that in with the soil that we got left over from the potatoes, breaking up all the lumps as I'm going along. I believe from the many YouTube videos that I've watched that reusing your potato soil like this is a really good way to save on soil, basically. So here we go, mix it in with the potting compost, because what we want for seedlings, in particular for seeds, is a nice, oh, potato, very good, a nice airy, light soil that drains well, but also holds on to moisture. So let's get this soil made up. I'm going to take that out. A couple of big lumps in there, take them out. Alrighty. Mixing in our soil and our compost. Oops. Oh look what I found. A potato, a wee tiny one, can you see? Right. And the last thing to go in here, there's going to be far too much, you can see that just by looking at it. But once we get our first tray or pots ready, oh dear, I'm throwing it all over the floor. Right, and then this perlite, just to create sort of an airy structure, keep it nice and light there. Stay out of the way of the dust that comes off of that. It's not pleasant. So just get this mixed in as well. And again, that just helps to let plenty of oxygen in, plenty of air go through, stops it waterlogging. And I'm going to have some mess to clear up when I'm finished with this, but never mind. There we go. That's looking quite well mixed in. Let's have a look at some of what we're going to try and grow. Now the idea here is we've got some gaps already coming in the 2 polycrubs in the greenhouse, and there's going to be more gaps as time goes on. So what I wanted to do was try and get some, don't know why that one's in there, we're not going to grow them, try and get some foods that will keep us going over autumn and winter. These yoghurt pots are great for getting things started rather than the individual cells. You can spread a few seeds on the top and get more in less space, if you like, and then we just transplant them on later on. Now the project is all about reuse, repurpose, you know, as little waste as possible. So these are a great way to stay in keeping with what we're trying to do. So let me fill up some of these, and then I'll show you what we're going to be experimenting with. So make us a bit of space. Just pan it down, don't want it too packed. Okay, I've got 2 stuck together here. Ouch. And you can see just 5 holes in the bottom, just enough for them to drain. Okay. there are our pots ready for planting. First thing I'm going to have to do is water them. I love these. You basically just pump the top and you can set it to either spray or a jet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give these all a good wetting. The first thing that I'm going to put in is pak choi. Our pak choi did really well in the summer, in the spring, and then we got that really hot spell, and before we knew it, it all bolted. So it's a bit cooler now. I'm going to try it. It might go outside. We might have to put it under cover. We'll see. So they're just tiny little seeds, as you can see, and I'm just going to sprinkle them on the surface of maybe 2 of these. Just a pinch, really, just sprinkling. These will all get separated out later. So that's our pak choi. Now, anybody that watches garden videos on YouTube or whatever, and you hear them saying, don't forget to label, for God's sake, don't forget to label, and you go, yeah, I'll remember what's in there. Yeah. And then you don't. So first up, now we use these, they're just little lollipop sticks. I got a box of about 5,000 of them. They're cheap as chips, but they're not plastic, they're biodegradable, and they're reusable because the ink eventually wears off. So I'm just going to label these. There's 2 of them. That one. This one. Now, I'll just take a little sprinkle of our potting mix and cover them over the top. Not too deep, they're tiny seeds, they don't need to be very deep. Give them a wee pat down and sprinkle and pat, and then get our trusty sprayer, and this time I'm going to turn it down to the spray setting because I don't want to like blast the seeds out. So I'll give these, oh that's a wee bit too much spray, give these a good water in, and then these can go up onto our nursery shelves ready to germinate. Okay, there's actually 3 pots in that one. Alright, I'll just leave it for now. So that's our pak choi. Next up, some lettuce. These were a lettuce called Grand Rapids, and they did extremely well over spring and summer. Out of all the lettuces, these really, they didn't bolt, if I'm being totally honest, until I think the plants were actually finished, whereas the others bolted really quickly because we had that really hot spell. So let's get some. I'm not going to put a huge amount of these in, but this time of year it's worth a try. And again, wee tiny seeds. So do I do one of these or do I do 2? Let's see. No, we've got quite a few to do, so I'm just going to do one of these for now, but I'll put quite a few seeds in it. This is something that I hadn't planted earlier this year, and I don't know why, but I'm putting it in now because I've been asked so many times for it and we didn't have it. So this is a coriander. Just going to do the one tub for now, see what we get from it, because I did 1 tub of the parsley earlier in the year and we got masses from it. So let's just see how this goes. So here we go, coriander. Now these are slightly bigger seeds, right, you see, than the others. I'm just going to sprinkle them on the surface and they can get pricked out and transplanted later on. I think it's still warm enough in here that we don't need like heat mats or anything like that. The temperature in here at the minute is 23 degrees Celsius, centigrade. So it's plenty warm enough. And this is the hope for when we put them under cover, is that there will be enough heat in the crubs and the greenhouse. And if we have to supplement the light, well, we'll supplement the light. And we may, as the season goes on, put the paraffin heaters in, just to keep the temperatures up at night. Now the next one here is cabbage. It's a German, I believe, Langiger Bewar. Don't know what it means. They're cabbages. Tiny little seeds again. These are another type of cabbages. They're called Lodero. And it does say they're frost hardy when they're bigger. And it does say to sow them March to May. Germination temperature 12 degrees plus. Okay, we've got 22 degrees in here. Now obviously it's not just about getting them to germinate. It's about having the temperatures and the conditions to actually keep them growing as the days get shorter and there's less light and it gets colder. So that's what this experiment is about. Here's something quite interesting. I discovered a company called She Grows Veg, and I'm not sponsored or anything. I think their stuff is amazing. So we're going to try some red sprouts, some purple cauliflower. We're also going to try some broccoli. Now we did have broccoli and it just bolted. And these are just some ordinary plain green sprouts. So I've got 4 tubs left here. Let's put these 4 in the tubs that we've got left. Okay. Oh, that was a near disaster. Oh, so was that. Right. So first up, we're going with the purple sprouts. The brassicas this year, because we had such a great summer, so many butterflies. I don't think I've ever seen that many butterflies, which means so many caterpillars. We got munched. So next year everything will be getting netted from the minute it goes in. Next one I think is the purple cauliflower. It is indeed the purple cauliflower. Cauliflowers were very, very disappointing this year. The ordinary ones, the white ones, they did not do well at all. So I'm not sure what went wrong. I know we should have covered them. We should have covered the heads. We didn't do that. Didn't find out till too late because, like I said, it's all an experiment. I don't know what I'm doing. Just hoping for the best. Broccoli, we can always try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And our last one is ordinary green Brussels sprouts. So let's see what we can do with these. And so our last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our last 6 pots. So I'm going to, this is a different, it's coriander from a different supplier, is what I'm trying to say. So we'll stick some of this in and just see, we can compare the difference later on. See if there's a difference in germination or, you know, what does best, or if they both do pretty much the same. Next up is another cabbage, and this one's called Clazel F1. They're club root resistant seeds, apparently. Different type of pak choi, so why not just chuck this in as well. There's not many, just a few, but I can put them in. So we've got 3 left. What was I going to put in there then? Now I think this is all year cauliflower, just the ordinary white cauliflower. So I'm going to give that a try. I think we're way too late for the red cabbages. What did I say this was, cauliflower? Our last one, I'm just going to put some Bright Lights chard. We've still got chard going up on the project. But I guess that might be coming to an end fairly soon, so we might as well have some more to take its place. So let's whack some of these in. Okay, so these are quite big, so I'm going to make sure they get properly spread out rather than just kind of chucking them anywhere. Yeah, that should be enough space for them. Like I said, they will be getting thinned out and potted on once they start to grow, so not too worried about that. So I don't know if there's a difference. This is Bright Lights chard. What we did in the spring was rainbow chard, but I can't imagine there's too much a difference between them. So it's time for the scoosh. And then up on the shelf. Oh. So up here on our shelf, they're quite high up, but they get plenty light up there. So you spot the obvious mistake, there's no trays under them, so when these get watered, the water's just going to come right through the bottom. So I will have to get some trays and get them up on the trays. But aside from that, that's what we've got planned going into autumn. I do have some potatoes to go in, and we're going to try getting some carrots in and some turnips and maybe some more leeks and just see how they do. If nothing happens, nothing happens, but we can at least try. So excellent, that's been today's little what are we doing now. See you soon, bye.